We're going to talk television this hour with the segment producer from the show Big Brother, who actually graduated from Roosevelt High School and Grandview College. Seth Weidner is the associate segment producer on the hot show Big Brother. And what a controversial show it is, but it's doing pretty well in the ratings. The Wednesday night show last week was number 5 in the ratings. The week before it was number 4. So here's this Des Moines kid, went to Roosevelt High, graduated from Grandview, I think 3 years ago, and gosh, in a short amount of time has gone from out of work, right, Seth?
That's right.
To all of a sudden the big time. Here you're a producer on one of the top 5 shows on TV. Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Am I right, Seth? It was 97 you graduated from college?
Yeah.
And gosh, in 3 short years has gone to the big time. And I remember, Seth, when I had you back in class at Grandview, how I know you had big aspirations, but you were just going to do it by just going out to California and seeing if you could find work, right?
Right. Well, initially, right after graduation, I went to Atlanta and interviewed with CNN to be a newsroom PA, and nothing turned out from there. So I went out to New York, and nothing really panned out there as well. Made a trip back to Des Moines, and got a couple paychecks, and headed out to California.
And how do you get that first job then? You just sit there and wait, and you just be available? Is that it?
No, it's finding if you have any contacts in California, any contacts in the entertainment business. My sister had gone to college with a young man who was working on a film. It was Out of Sight. It was a George Clooney film.
Sure.
And I had called him to see if he knew of any work, and he knew a fellow Roosevelt graduate who was working at a production company who said that they had an opening on the phones.
Wow.
So on my first day I called, got an interview the second day. I wore a tie to the interview. And the entertainment business is a little bit more laid back than that. And
but they hired you, didn't they?
Yeah, she basically said, I knew I was hired when she said, if you ever walk into this office with a tie again, you're fired.
We had this conversation a few years ago because Seth took my class where we teach about interviewing, and they always, I remember I say, even dress up, because even if they're laid back, they're going to be impressed with you if you dress up. And I think that's probably what happened in your case, is that even though she said don't ever wear a tie again, she was still impressed with you.
She appreciated it, absolutely.
So networking is really the key here.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, every job is, is basically, the more and more networking you get, the less interviews you have and the more job offers you have.
Yeah.
It's really amazing. The Man Show on Comedy Central, I worked on that before I went into Big Brother, and Daniel Kellison was doing his pilot while I was working an office job at the production company, Stone Stanley Productions, and we just, clicked. And then when I got my first AP job, associate producing job, it was on MTV for Loveline.
Sure.
And when that ended, the Man Show picked up, and Daniel had remembered me from the office, and he was from New York, and so he was looking for people here in California, and it just, it just starts that way.
So one thing just leads to another.
Absolutely.
Now, your grandparents still live here in Iowa?
Yes, yes.
And
they have a house in Marshalltown and Clear Lake, and spend the winters in Sun City, Arizona.
And some of the shows that you've worked on would be considered controversial. I mean, the Loveline show on MTV is considered pretty hot.
Sure.
Comedy Central's Man Show is a little risque at times.
Pushes the limits.
Right.
Sure.
And then now you're on Big Brother, which is a big CBS controversy.
Right.
So you seem to have a little pattern here, Seth. Is it a culture shock for you to go from kind of quiet Iowa to being out there in California and doing these types of shows?
I'm still getting adjusted, to be honest with you. The shows, for me, it's, everyone I've worked with so far has just been great. So, if and when any controversy comes, everybody's very comfortable with it because everybody knows that they're doing a good job. And, the actual product that you're putting out is a good product.
Yeah.
So, I mean, when you read things from the media, it doesn't affect you personally. It doesn't affect me much at all because, if you're behind the product, then I don't think there's anything to be worried about.
They call these reality shows, but Seth, you and I know there's no reality to this. You're taking some people and putting them into a house with 28 cameras and 60 microphones,
right,
and then seeing what happens, right?
Right. Well, I think the reality is after a while you get desensitized to that you're on camera. You get desensitized that everything you're doing is being filmed. One of Jordan's, William, during his interview when he got outed, he said that he did know that the cameras are on him. Jordan, who was there for 2 weeks afterwards, said that she didn't.
So she didn't even think about it.
She didn't think about it. It became a second thought.
Well, as you see, like Karen, she starts to spill her guts about her marriage and how terrible it is.
Right.
She's obviously not thinking about the fact that all of America is going to see this.
Yeah, exactly.
And you guys are probably sitting back there going, "Ooh, this is juicy."
Oh, that's the stuff. Yeah, exactly.
Now, what is your job then as associate segment producer?
The daily job varies, but overall, it's keeping contact with the family members, getting their reaction, seeing what's going on from their perspective. It's also covering all the media. If a local bar is having a Big Brother night in let's say Josh's, town of Reedley, we go out there and we cover it, and bring them back so we have roll-in field pieces. Is a big thing. In the beginning of the show, it was actually my busiest time because we did the video profiles of the people that went in.
Right.
And, there's another segment producer there as well, and we just split it up. And, I had Josh, Jordan, Brittany, Curtis, and George as my profiles. And
Brittany is something else. Brittany's the one with the wild hair.
Yeah.
Oh, gosh.
Yeah,
she's from Minneapolis, isn't she?
Yeah, her and Jordan are both from Minneapolis. And they did not know each other beforehand. It'll be interesting to see if they hang out in Minneapolis together after the show.
I doubt it. I would think if I were in this house with these people 24 hours a day, I would never want to see these people again.
Yeah, it was interesting. They were talking about within the house guests were talking about a reunion at some point.
Really?
Yeah, and they were all saying they probably needed quite a bit of time.
I bet.
Yeah.
Now, when you talk with the families, from what Jordan said last week, Jordan got kicked out last week, and then the interview that they do immediately live right afterwards, she essentially said that her parents wanted nothing to do with this.
Right.
They were embarrassed by her profession, which they hadn't really known about, and then embarrassed that she was doing the show. So are you having trouble sometimes getting cooperation from the families?
For the most part, not at all. Everybody has been, just really, really warm. For the most part, everybody's very excited for their person in the house. It's crazy the support that George is getting.
I love George.
If you go to Rockford, Illinois, there will be, posters up along the road. Restaurants are naming sandwiches after him.
Yeah, but Seth, it's kind of like Rudy on Survivor. He's different. George is different from everybody else in that house. He's this middle-aged, overweight guy.
Yep.
He just he looks like an old frat guy. He just kind of wants to sit around and party.
Right.
And you just kind of root for the underdog. In that
absolutely.
Case.
Yeah,
so I can see why the people in his hometown would really rally around him.
Yeah, there's and we're starting to see a little bit of a George mania pop up other places as well.
Yeah, and the other thing I've read a lot about is the internet. That Big Brother is actually doing better on the internet than it's doing on television. That it is the top thing on the internet right now.
Yeah, it's amazing. Well, you get the quad split where you can see, I think it's 4 cameras, and people at work just click on Big Brother 2000, go in, check it out. You get a lot of people that come home and surf the internet and then just go to Big Brother. And it's cool too because if you watch the live show and something's going on and we have to cut because our hour's over, you can immediately go to the net and just pick up the story.
Now, the one thing that bothers me is the cameras in the bathroom and the shower. I guess I understand why they had to do that so people wouldn't go sneak somewhere to have private conversations. Exactly. But it just makes me feel real uncomfortable to think that there are producers sitting in a control room or board operators or whatever, technical directors, and they're literally watching people going to the bathroom and taking showers.
Right.
So how do you deal with the ethics of that situation? I mean, do people just turn the other way? Do they shut that monitor off or what?
I have never been to a control room when someone is showering or using the restroom. It's a good group of people. I'm sure that they have worked out something.
So you just have to hope they're professional. That's what it gets down to.
Right. They're very professional. Everybody in there is there for a reason. And, at the same token, whoever's in the house knew what they were signing up for.
Yeah, but that leads to the question, why would people have done this, knowing that the camera would be on them 24 hours a day, even when you're doing those private things?
I think some people have definitely done it for the money. I mean, $500,000 for 3 months, of sacrifice. is a lot of money. I think other people have done it to potentially help launch their career.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think
Mhm.
some of them really want to become more famous, have an acting career or something
Yeah.
like that, right? Like that, I think Jamie is her name, the beauty queen.
From Washington,
Right.
correct?
And I think she just point blank said in one of the, I think the first show, she was talking about how she wanted to further her career on this. Well, Seth, it's great to talk to you. Some people have criticized Big Brother, of course, as being very voyeuristic, and yet this is not the end of these types of shows. Is
No,
it?
this is the beginning.
This is just the beginning.
This is the beginning. You know, shows are in production as we speak. You know, there's going to be shows that I think are going to be much more under the harsh realm of what's okay and what's not. I think that this is going to seem tame in a year.
Right. Yeah, I think you're right. Some of them that they're proposing are just almost unbelievable.
Yeah, it's going to prove to be interesting.
Well, congratulations to you for all of your success. I'm very proud of you, and really excited to see what happens to you in the future.
Thank you so much for having me on the show, Mr. Winzenberg. I really appreciate it.
Seth Weidner is the associate segment producer of Big Brother. You can watch it on CBS.